Hello and welcome to another practical video. And in this video we are going to look at password management for Unix and Linux machines. Practically where they are stored and how to read them, what happens when you create a user and when you remove a user. Some of the commands used to create a user as well. So first of all, I'm using a Kali virtual Linux machine on my machine, and as you can see here I already have the desktop. So if I go to applications and I choose the accessories, just one second, sorry, system tools, this is a made version, so I have made terminal. When I start the made terminal, as you can see that I'm root. Basically I have access to all the machine resources and all the files, so I would be able to read not only the password file but also the shadow file. So first of all, let's see where those files start. If I go to etc and if I start listing, I will have a lot of information here on my screen, and if you look closer you actually find, here it is, the password file, and of course under S there would be the shadow file, or maybe ls-la, so that it will show hidden files as well. And there it is, the shadow file. So to read the files you can use the simple command as cat. So I use cat password, and that's the output of the password file that I have. You can see that I have root here with a user ID of 0 and a group ID of 0. And then I have additional users. Most of them are system users used by different applications or services. Like for example, www.data is used by Apache or web server. I move forward. There is the vbox_add, which is actually the virtual box service that's running on this machine, so that it will allow me some actions to actually copy paste things from this machine and so on, and also better resolution. So you need that service as well. There is beef because that's Kali and we have beef on that machine to run it, and pretty much all of the users are here. So if I add a user, let's say add user, and just use the name demo, hit enter, it's going to ask me additional questions. So first of all, it says that it's adding user demo. It creates a new group for that user with an ID of 1000, and of course it's adding the user to that group. It's creating a home directory, which is home demo, that already exists because I use it for actually testing purposes. And then you have to enter a password. So I enter a password. It's going to ask me for additional information like full name. Let's say that's a demo user, room number 22, work phone, just something generic. There is a whole phone, we don't have one, for example, nothing to other, and then it's asking you if all the information provided is correct. So if I hit yes and enter, it has the user created. And now if I read the password file, it's going to have another entry. There it is, another entry for the demo user. The actual user ID is 1000 as well as the group ID. That's the username that actually is supposed to represent the password in the legacy systems. That's the IDs of the user and the group. That's the group. Actually, that's the user full name. That's the room number, the phone that I entered. We have the home folder, home directory, and that's the actual terminal that the user have access to, which is bash. And this is the default terminal for most of the Linux users. And you can of course change that if you like, so it's up to you. Now if I read the shadow file, I will have an entry for that user as well, shadow. Now for the shadow file, I have a username, I have the salted password hashed, and as you can see here, that's the actual salt and the hash. And again, as we talked, if you watched our previous videos, that's the information about, for example, when would the password expire in days, how often or how earlier before the expiration would I be reminded, Some of these are for actually disabling the account after the expiration. This one is reserved for future services and future options, and this is how long actually how much time passed since the password was created. This is actually from the 1st of January 1970 count, so in days. So that's pretty much the shadow file, and you have all the other users here. And as you can see, not all of them have passwords, but we can have the root here that's using a password again, and information about the root. So if you want, you can actually check out the add user command, and you have different options. When you create a user, you can of course choose the home folder. You can of course disable creation of the home folder as well. You can use -- shell to actually allow it to connect to a different kind of shell, or you can use no shell so that it's not going to have a shell. You can disable login for a user, make any changes you like, and again home shell, so on. You can use this command also to add a user to an existing group. You can use the add group command of course if you like, and all these options here. So there is another option. We have a del user, and it's going to be interactive if you write it like that, and it's going to ask you for a username to remove, but you can also use it del user directly with the username. Let me just see if we have some information here. Now if you use del user with the username directly, it's not going to remove the home folder. As you can see, home, ls home, that's the demo folder, and if I use del user demo, if I list home, it still keeps the folder because there might be some files there in that folder that are used by different users, and by default it's not going to remove the home folder. So let me just give you an example with some password. Yep, that's it. So ls home. So if I use del user with the -- remove home or remove all files, it's going to remove the home folder of the user. So let me just give you an example. Del user demo, and then I add remove home to the command. I hit enter, and then if I list home, that will be an empty folder. It's not going to have anything inside of it. Basically means that it removed the home folder. And then if I read etc password file, there is no demo user anymore here, and we move back to the vbox add user. If I create a new one, it's going to get again the same user ID of 1000 because that will be the user ID for the first user on the system. And then if I read the shadow file, as you can see again, the demo user is being removed. It doesn't have any entry for it. We have all the other left here. Everything is the same. It just removed the last entry that I actually created when I created the demo user. That's pretty basic understanding of creation and removing and deletion of users in Linux, and in this case in Kali, which is Ubuntu and Debian based. It's pretty simple and similar with the other operating systems, other distributions of Linux. So it won't be much different. And I hope you like this video and learned something new. And if you did, hit the likes button, subscribe for more videos, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.